we have grown up in a space that is about destination culture, where expectations that we are handed down either by our parents or by society, let alone our workplaces and our employers, etc., is the sense that our self-worth is determined by the next gate that we pass through. And there are these series of long gates that you are working to, but in my experience of working in the mental health space, you are living in a permanent fear of failure that you're never going to quite make the grade to hit that gate. And so my mission for the last 15 years has been to try and shorten people's expectations of success, and make that a daily thing. And I call it rolling the peanut forward, which is maybe our sense of value and self-worth is about performance in the world, but it's done on a daily basis. If you are clear in what you want out of a particular day, then maybe at the end of the day, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, was I good today? Was I of any value? And hopefully other people around you will affirm that, but it's no longer this long destination story. Does the world need another app that is about a solo pursuit of somebody looking inward and trying to retreat from the world to find some peace? Maybe there's a bigger opportunity here, which is about changing the noise, not retreating from the noise, but getting out into the noise with a different mindset and beginning to shift it, shift the dial, but doing it on a daily basis.
You know, we arrived at this space, jumping to it, that we know that a lot of us arrive at different moments in our life knowing that we have patterns that don't work for us. And a bit like the the New Year's resolutions, going at that patterns on our own, we might make some progress, but we run out of puff, or we just give up. It's too hard to do it on our own. So what if we built a new kind of practice, been much more performative? Yes, it had some kind of meditative function in it, in that without some period of reflection on what you're trying to do in the world and sitting with that, it's very hard to then go and understand the personal insights that are coming from that you could share with a mate. Knowing that we could build a practice that spoke to the different elements that we call self-care, the different elements of us. So how is our mind and mental health around how we're thinking about ourselves? How is our emotional state, the way we're feeling about ourselves and our place in the world? What's our instinct telling us, and our truth and our purpose? And are we living that? And do we connect with that? And is it empowering us? How's our spirit? How's the timing of what we're trying to do in the world? So we had this pattern that spoke holistically to what you could say is a holistic view on mental health and well-being. But rather than point that back into a solo pursuit, let's point it into a shared pursuit that speaks to an intention of what I'm trying to do in the world, focusing that on where I think I might try and best feel it. Is it that I need to get my mind straight with it, my heart straight with it, my gut straight with it, the timing in the world, my spirit, etc. And then if I could sink into that as an individual pursuit, but I did that with a mate. So my whole view on doing it as an individual pursuit is where I got to and coming out of it and trying to surface some output of that captured that exercise I'm trying to do, and use what we call a training wheel, a data capture that now the app captures on that journey, would be both a reflective tool for me and a social object that I could engage with what we're calling my training partner, my mate, who I'm trusting to share with what I'm trying to do in the world. And together we could talk around that. And then if they were doing the same thing, we could talk around theirs at the same time.
The notion that you create a training partner in that kind of liminal space, that safe space between two people in which you can support and nurture, but also in many respects challenge and hold each other to account, to a process that is an ongoing iterative process. I have a very simple principle in the world, which is if you take a beat in the morning when you get out of bed before you're starting your first cup of coffee or whatever it is you do, whatever your routine is, if you take a beat and think, what do I want out of the world today? And then you think about it and focus on it and hold it lightly, as Matt said, and then go about your day and have that in your essence, the world will give it back. If you don't take that beat and you start off in a level of mental chaos or whatever it is, why are we surprised that the world is chaotic around us? It's a really, really simple principle that I just think is super powerful once you get it normalized into your everyday behavior. And I guess that's ultimately what we're trying to do here. But there's something desperately human and simple at the heart of it, which is the starting point of just intentional living.